Well, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you this morning. I wanted to talk about some of the things that students ask me about, young people ask me about, as I travel around the world and work with women entrepreneurs and students and so forth from different cultures and here in the United States. And one of the things they look at somebody who's built a billion-dollar business and they say, oh, I'd like to be like that. But the fact is that they don't know how to get there. They're thinking, well, how do I know it's going to be a great idea, and then how do I do it? And so I think it's important to know that human capital is really the key to all other capital. And I want to explain a little bit about my own experience as a student. So you can now flash back a few decades, maybe more than a few decades, and imagine me as a 20-year-old. College student with my backpack, my $5 a day. Yes, it was $5 a day back then. And I was traveling through Europe. Always kind of I'm a very curious kid about doing everything. And I was walking down the street in London and I saw this sign about a lecture being given on geosynchronous orbiting satellites. Now, look at me. Do you think that I would think that would be sexy? You know, kids my age who probably thought, who wants to learn about that? To me, I was like, yeah, I'm going in there to find this out. So I go in to listen to this lecture, and he is talking about geosynchronous orbiting satellites, which we use all the time today, but we didn't back then in the 60s, because it was the time of the Cold War. And now looking around the room, I bet everybody in the room remembers the Cold War just about, so you know what I mean. It was a time of secrecy and espionage and all this sort of stuff, and I thought, satellites, this could be interesting. So this person had such power in his passion for the use of satellite technology to change communications around the globe that it was an idea that captured me and never let me go. And that person, you will also know, his name is Arthur C. Clarke, the author of 2001: A Space Odyssey, and a gifted scientist. And he has, to my way of thinking, is one of the most grounded scientific writers, and it's in his science fiction writing as well. So, okay, that was 1966. I went back and wrote my master's thesis on satellites and how they would affect communications. And so now it's 1968. And I think, oh, this is good, I've got to do this. Oh, couldn't do it because we couldn't use satellites back then for commercial purposes, so what did I do? And here comes the human capital part of it. I worked in the satellite business, and Dr. Joseph Cherick was the chairman of ComSat at that time. Worked in the cable industry, Bob Rosencrantz, people like John Malone. I got to know everybody in those industries. Plus, when I was working my way through school, I actually was a television producer, so I had some knowledge about the television business as well, and those are the three pieces that had to be brought together. But it was really the fact that I got to meet the people who are running those industries. And you know, you think as young people are coming up today, who can really help them? It's the human capital, and that's what's so beautiful about what's going on in this room, and the students come in and you hear the pitches of their ideas and things like that. But the real power of it all is to bring together the people that can help them, that can train them, that can advise them. We raise today, we help women entrepreneurs in particular at Springboard Enterprises that was mentioned at the beginning. We help women raise venture capital, young and old, and people of all different ages and who have ideas. But we've learned to put a tremendous ecosystem around them and it's true of youth. So today we have the incubators, we have the tech stars, we have competitions, we have university commercialization offices, we have all kinds of things going on in the country that didn't exist back then when I was a student in the way you sort of had to guide yourself through. I think that today there's so much richness in what we can do and teach. We can teach entrepreneurism to a certain degree, but not everything, because you can only really be an entrepreneur by going out there and doing it. That's the only real way you can become an entrepreneur, because you don't know what you're going to run into. You certainly don't know the answers to all the questions, and you need a great group of advisors. So what we try to teach people is go out and form your human capital portfolio before you actually need those people's help. So that's what some of the speed dating is in the room here today, some of the things that are going on. It's a good thing if people walk away and come back and get in contact with you, because you are people that can help them get through the bumpy areas. And all entrepreneurs face those things. I mean, we know, those of us who are entrepreneurs certainly know there are a lot of dark days, but you're still pushed on by your passion and what you want to, what you want to build. And so you need to reach out to people that can help you through those sort of troughs. So that is like tremendously important. So let me tell you why we started Springboard Enterprises in 2000. When I left USA Network and President Clinton asked me to be the chair of the National Women's Business Council, it was a time when really the council reported the progress of women entrepreneurs and how much procurement was going on with the federal government and things like that. Great, but that's not me. I want to build big businesses. So I look at everything as a big business starting small. And I said, oh, I really want to be in private capital. And so I wanted to search the marketplace for private capital. And in 1999, if you go back and look at statistics, you'll see that $104 billion was available in this market back then. 1.7% went to women. So I said, there's got to be a change. So we got to do something about this, because we need all men and women who have this talent to rise. We need the talent. It's a talent pool that we need to create in this country. And we started off by calling for applications so women we wanted to see who was out there that really had a scalable business that venture capitalists would actually support. And people said, oh, you're not going to find it. We went to Silicon Valley, but also, I mean, I thought we only have 3 years to get this project off the ground. We might as well go to the primary stage to start with. So we did, and we were supported by some people, and other people said, you're crazy. You're not going to find these companies. We found 350 of them who applied. We selected 26 of them to present. 22 got funded. 2 women merged their business. 1 woman sold her business, and 1 wasn't funded. But let me just say, we've never looked back. And it's been a very bumpy decade since that time, because the tech market crashed. I don't have to go through the last decade. Everybody knows what we went through. But what I've seen is continually growing strength in these entrepreneurs. That happens to be women, but we also work with entrepreneurs in general, I mean guys as well, and a lot of different activities that I'm involved in. And I see it. I see so much possibility. We have so much at our fingertips today, so much technology, so much to know about the human genome, so much that it's like an endless playing field. I look at it and it's an endless candy store. Every day I can think of new things that I want to do. So what do young people do when they get up in the morning and they think of this? How do they get the first step going? They do hopefully they can come to organizations that didn't exist when I started, as I said, like the ones that you're working with, that can give them some guidance, at least give them some lift into the marketplace, how to start. But once you get going, there's so many different questions that arise, so many things that happen, whether it's from a legal standpoint or an operational standpoint, a backbone standpoint, talent, again, finding the right talent. It's so important. When we look for entrepreneurs that can scale businesses, you can tell who has the drive, who has not only the idea, but can bring the right talented people around them, even young people. It's not their best friends or the next guy in the class or this or that or their cousin Louise. It's that they go out and find the best people. And that talent is really, really important. And one of the things that I really love to see in young people, and I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for the future of the planet. The reason I'm hopeful when I talk to these young people at universities and so forth many of them are motivated by doing good as well and doing well. And I think that's really important to note, that there are 2.5 billion people on this planet of 7.2 billion people living way below the poverty line. Most of them are disconnected from the world. There are lots of things that we can do now because we have the technology, we have the capability of doing things to improve their lives and improve the understanding of we're all on this planet together. And I see a lot more young people who are interested in doing things like that. So one of the things, and I'm going to show you a short video in a moment here. One of the things that we look at is how can you affect 1 billion people with what you're doing in the next 10 years. And just as I used satellites to completely change the television business, because when I started there were only 3 broadcast networks. Does anyone in the room remember those days? And you know, now we have, I don't know, thousands of networks available to ourselves, and many more technologies, broadband and smartphones and things like that. But I want to show you something that's really simple that is very much the same idea. Taking a technology and solving a problem or introducing a product. So if we could have that video, just think about what this could do for people at the bottom of the pyramid. The reason I wanted to show it to you is that program started in the district of Mumbai this week. And we have a young woman who is working with us, an 18-year-old woman from the United States, who is very involved in launching a product that is going to take that by using simple cell phones to the villages throughout India and hopefully affecting 1 billion people, not in 10 years, but in 5 years. And I think that we're going to do it. What I'm just saying is, you just never know what's inside the package you're looking at. But if you inspire, not only teach technique, but inspire the youth to reach higher, to reach greater, to imagine greater. We have so much at our fingertips. We can do so much today. So that is just, you know, I am such an optimistic entrepreneur perhaps, but I am optimistic about the life of people on this planet because we can improve the life of everyone. Thank you so much.